You're watching Alaska's news source.
6 days. We are now under a week until Election Day, and today we hear the inspiring story of a first-time voter and what drove her to have her voice heard.
Checking the facts, election season is nearly over, meaning that all the political ads will stop soon. But before they do, we dive into the details in our latest Fact Checked.
What we've done here is we've taken 4 pipe cleaners and we've twisted them into this very creepy looking spider guy. And of course we've added a ghost face.
Halloween DIY projects, how some simple items around your house can actually make for some pretty creative and creepy decorations. The morning edition starts now. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Some really cool ideas involving pipe cleaners and coffee filters.
I can't wait to find out about that, but first let's check in with our own creepy crawly. Howie Gordon is standing by. Howie, what do you got? What do you got to talk about with the weather right now?
He doesn't even want to talk to you now, Charlie.
No, he's just he won't come on.
Special elections, the 2021 budget, and rising COVID-19 case numbers were all big topics at last night's Anchorage Assembly meeting, the first one since Austin Quinn Davidson became acting mayor.
She touched on rising case numbers at the beginning of the meeting, and while she didn't announce any new emergency orders or changes to the existing ones, she made it clear that she considers Anchorage's economy and its public health to be connected items.
That as long as people are worried about getting sick, irrespective of whether there are health mandates or closures, businesses will suffer from reduced demand. The economy and public health are inextricably linked.
She added that the rising case numbers are still a major concern and encouraged Anchorage residents to follow those same recommendations we keep hearing: wearing a mask around others, avoiding large gatherings, and maintaining that 6 feet of distance.
However, not everyone in attendance agreed with those recommendations. Multiple people testified in opposition to the current mask mandate and other emergency orders, and the chair had to remind the public multiple times that he is required to close the chambers if people can't wear masks. While that didn't happen, it didn't stop people from criticizing the assembly over its coronavirus response.
We need to open up so that these people can get their money back, their tips back, start building their business back. Things that you guys have destroyed. I have watched it happen over this entire process.
The decision on whether to hold a special election in Anchorage to fill the vacancy left by former Mayor Ethan Berkowitz, that's going to have to wait another week after the Anchorage Assembly did not get to the item on their Tuesday agenda.
Well, we learned 2 more people with COVID-19 have died.
One was an Anchorage man in his 80s and the other a Fairbanks man in his 90s. That means 70 Alaskans with COVID-19 have died, with 381 new cases reported. It's the second highest daily case count recorded and the 4th consecutive day above 300.
378 are Alaska residents and 3 are non-residents. And today we will hit 15,000 total cases since the pandemic began if we see another day like yesterday.
Almost all of Alaska is under a high alert warning, meaning the average daily case rate is higher than 10 per 100,000 people over the past 2 weeks.
The YK Delta is at the top of that list based on population currently experiencing averages of more than 106 cases per 100,000 people over the last 14 days. Anchorage, the Northwest region, and Fairbanks all above 30 cases per 100,000.
Also on high alert, the Matanuska-Susitna region, the Kenai Peninsula, Juneau, what's being called the other interior region, and now added to the high alert list, the Southwest region.
And an outbreak of COVID-19 is hitting the Alaska Military Youth Academy. The program said 9 cadets have tested positive and 27 people are in isolation, with some waiting for those test results. According to a spokesperson, campus sanitation, hand washing, social distancing, and mask wearing are all reinforced constantly.
Parents of the students in isolation have been informed, and the program does have medical personnel on staff who are treating the cadets. With COVID-19 cases on the rise as we head into winter, some lawmakers are calling on Governor Mike Dunleavy to do more to address the pandemic.
They say he should use every tool he has to save lives, including a statewide mask mandate. Over the summer, the legislature held several COVID-19 oversight hearings, inviting medical professionals, public health experts, and frontline workers to testify.
Anchorage Representative Zach Field says the administration didn't attend most of those hearings and has not acted on the recommendations that came out of them, including mandating masks statewide. The governor has said he's leaving it up to the communities to decide what to do and calling on individual Alaskans to do their part.
It's important to note the governor has lied and said local governments can do this. A lot of types of boroughs don't have the local authority to do a mask mandate. The Matsu borough, where 100,000 people live. Until and unless the state does a mask mandate, they're not going to have that guidance in their local community. And I've seen firsthand that mask usage.
We did reach out to the governor's office about the renewed statewide mask mandate, and we were told he didn't have time for an interview and his office didn't send a statement, but we're told he'll hold a news conference today.
A program that can help people struggling to make their rent payments has millions of dollars that need to be spent before the end of the year.
We had a lot of people coming in individually, but we felt like we might be missing some of those that might be not aware of the program. And so we have a new process where we're going out and reaching out to landlords, because it's a challenge for the landlords too, to be able to make sure that they have their payments coming in.
The rental assistance program can provide up to $3,000 to people who've been impacted by COVID. Tenants can apply for the money directly, but now the city is also reaching out to landlords who might have tenants who could qualify. Whether you're a landlord or a tenant, if you are interested in the program, you can call Alaska 211.
For people in Wasilla, it was election day, but we still don't know who won. Only 28 votes separate Doug Holler and Glenda Ledford during the regular election for mayor on October 6th. But here are the results from the runoff, and so far there's only a 20-vote difference between the two. Holler has 163 votes. Ledford is ahead with 183.
But here is the catch. Absentee ballots and by mail and other provisional ballots totaling 423 votes still need to be counted, and there are still 101 absentee ballots that were sent out that could be returned in the mail by Friday's deadline. That could also come into play. The election is expected to be certified on October 30th.
And in Alaska, early voting has been going on for more than a week now, and mail-in ballots are also being returned. And according to a new NBC new tabulation so far, there have been 79,104 ballots returned. 74% have been those mail-in ballots, while the remaining 26% are from early in-person voting. This is an increase of more than 150% since the elections in 2016.
And we're now less than a week away from Election Day.
But one voter in Juneau said casting a ballot was an important way to overcome her fears and also inspire her daughter. Sean McGuire has that story from Juneau.
Danielle Cadiente lives in Juneau. She owns a dance studio and works for the state. At 43, she had never voted before.
But my daughter recently said to me this while she was doing schoolwork that she's scared of raising her hand in class because she's embarrassed of asking the wrong question.
Cadiente wanted to inspire her 10-year-old daughter, Bayla.
And then I realized, I put it together that I was doing the same thing and modeling that behavior for her by me not voting.
She wasn't interested in voting in her 20s, and by her 30s, she thought she would be judged for not knowing how. But how do you go about voting if you've never done it before?
Before, I didn't feel comfortable voting because I didn't know the issues. I didn't know the candidates. I didn't feel comfortable going into a polling booth.
Cadiente researched exhaustively online. She watched candidates speak and debated the issues with her boyfriend. But the idea of voting in person sounded scary.
If I walked in there not knowing any of it and started asking questions, it's like, why don't you understand this? You should know this. You're 43 years old. You should know how to do this by now.
The Division of Elections says poll workers are patient and there to answer any questions that voters have. And, quote, "We understand an anxiety voters may have as a first-time voter. They are not the only ones who feel that way. So please ask us as many questions as you need to. It is an honor to be part of helping such a special moment happen. It is never too late to do something incredible. And voting is incredible. This year, Cadiente voted absentee, which means she could take her time at home.
Next year is going to be another step up.
Then it was time to drop her ballot off at a postbox.
It was very monumental for me. It was unexpectedly.
Daughter Bayla watched the home political debates and was part of the process. And she saw her mum overcome her fears.
And she's like, "I'm so proud of you, Mom." And she kept saying it. And so that was like, that made it, realizing that she was taking in the information and she was processing it was important because of what she does at school too, not raising her hand and not being involved. And so that was like, I think, one of the biggest parts of the whole thing.
Reporting from Juneau, Sean McGuire, Alaska's news source.
First time or the 10th time, always great to see people participating in the process. She posted her story on social media and says many Alaskans reached out to say they've felt the same anxieties about voting, and her story inspired them.
Yeah, see, you're not alone. All right, still ahead, is Halloween the perfect holiday for the pandemic?
A piece of cloth that has multiple layers that covers your nose and your mouth completely, or a surgical mask.
And is your Halloween mask going to protect you from COVID-19? We'll go shopping with Taylor Clark to find out in our Halloween series.
But we do have this dense fog advisory that is in place until 1 o'clock this afternoon from Talkeetna all the way down into parts of Cook Inlet, including the Matanuska and Susitna Valleys, Anchorage included. Again, visibility getting dropped down to a quarter of a mile or less. So we'll start off with fog and clouds later on today. Mostly sunny skies, temperatures warming into the lower 30s, a slightly below average, but November is about 5 days away, so conditions are really right around average, but temperatures are going to continue to fall as the week moves on. Why is that? Because some of these storms move off. High pressure then continues to drop some of this colder air down from the north, and for the most part, we're going to have a mix of clouds and sun, but by Halloween, we're going to have sunny skies. Without that cloud cover and this flow of colder air, we're going to see some of our coldest temperatures of the season. Again, some overnight lows dropping down to close to 10 degrees. Today, though, into the 30s and 40s, a little cooler in Glen Ellen with a high of 21. But we have that early fog advisories again, not set to expire until 1 o'clock this afternoon. Temperatures right around 30, 35 degrees in the Anchorage surrounding areas. Breezier and windier for the most part, though. Winds staying on the light side. So this morning, some early fog advisories in place until 1 o'clock today. Later on, though, the sun does come out. Will be mostly sunny with high temperatures warming into the lower 30s.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, always listen to Howie Gordon when it comes to weather. Never listen to Howie Gordon when it comes to how you plan out your passwords. I think that that's good advice for everybody.
Those things are just, yeah, I got to show you my list after the show. They're just so many, and they just change one number here.
We'll take your word for it,
You got too many, Howie. We believe you.
Way too many.
We'll get it all straightened out.
All right. Thanks, Howie, and thank you for watching. Be careful out there as you're out on the roads with some of that fog, and also updated news at alaskasnewssource.com.
At alaskasnewssource.com. Be careful driving around and have a great morning.